Finally did it! 10K subs! 10K subs! Yeah! Yeah! Woo! I am so happy that I finally reached this goal. I wonder how that YouTube channel for that media company I used to work for, I wonder how that's doing compared to how I'm doing now. I wonder, let's go take a look and see where they are. Oh.
Would you like some human flesh? Dude.
So the reason why unlocking 10K is very important to me is because it gets me onto a tier where I can finally unlock the New York YouTube space, which is something I've longed for a while. Because I definitely really want and need a space to try and do more ambitious projects, and I've got a lot of shit I want to do. A lot of great stuff and a lot of favors I want to call in to make fun, unique, experimental stuff that's a little bit more, higher production than my video essays, and I need the space to do it, and this will give me the equipment and the space. So I have a number of projects that I want to do there, but let me give you a little teaser of what the first one will be. A little celebration to all you fine people who take the time to comment on the videos and give me the sense of validation I need to continue to spend hours on producing more content. Plus, a little something of what I want to do. Here, enjoy. Our next guests can be seen every day in the comment section of the videos on this channel. Welcome, the Lobster Magnet Commentators!
You know, this place is surprisingly easy to break into.
Come on, comment section!
Let's get your freak on!
Here right now in the comment section. Here in the comment section tonight. Here in the comment section tonight. Why settle for one ridiculously over-the-top commentator with an anime avatar when you can have 7? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here are the Sinister Six. We got a man made entirely out of angry DC fanboys. I get buzzed just thinking about him. The Fanboy Swarm. It's the cold-blooded birdie killer, Captain Crunch. Want the thunder from down under? The man from the south? Walter Street! The high school guy with enough free time to edit this video, Pixel Hipster!
Am I getting paid for this?
We got the only guy on the internet who uses an Uber avatar, Horatio Poggy! The not-so-sharpest knife in the drawer who I'm still waiting to finish my new banner, Goro Gregoro! In the comment section. Here in the comment section tonight. Here in the comment section tonight. Here in the comment section tonight.
Hey, look out. What?
Yes, that's right! Right here, I'm announcing Lobster Tonight, title pending. This will be my not live but pre-recorded talk show. Yes! This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I want my own goddamn talk show. You know, I want my own talk show. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and this space will provide me with the materials I need to do it. And basically, this talk show, the way I have it planned is I'm going to commission a really dumb hat. I'm going to have a nice suit and a horrible getup with like lobster-themed socks, a tie, and I'm going to have this really stupid lobster magnet hat. There's this great girl named Lily Neko on DeviantArt, and she does felt hats, lots and lots of great felt hats, makes Pokemon felt hats and other video game themed stuff. And before, I've commissioned her to make two things, my Cherno Alpha hat for, you know, good old Pacific Rim, and I also commissioned my famous puppy hat, which I used at various cons to try and sell my manga. And, you know, the puppy hat has done wonders, so I'm gonna have her do her wonders again to create a new lobster hat, and I'm just gonna be the stupidest show host ever. So in terms of, like, what the style I'm going for the talk show, I want a combination of the sort of, like, very laid-back podcast-style interview shows like you see the comedians usually run. So, like, think the, you know, the Joe Rogan podcast, the Mark Maron podcast, the H3H3 podcast, combined with the sort of anarchic chaos of the Eric Andre show. Not as good as the Eric Andre show, because like I said, I want you all to have really low expectations for this. This show is going to be dirt fucking cheap, like maybe a level or two above cable access, but I have some ideas of how to spice it up. I have some ideas on how to poke fun at the general triteness of the talk show format, and you'll see those to like mix it up and make it fun, along with like, but the big centerpiece is going to be the long-form interviews. And so who am I going to interview? I'm not that famous. I'm not going to be able to get famous people, but what I plan to do is get people who I know can provide good conversation. So there'll be friends of mine, there'll be people I've met and worked alongside with. Basically, what I want to try and get is the sort of people that, you know, don't get the main headlines, the kind of people who work behind the scenes, who can give you interesting insights into industries that you will find interesting. People who can talk about their careers, how they got in those careers, share stories. That's what I want, a sort of informal thing of interesting conversation on a wide variety of topics while giving an overview of the person, their life, their career accomplishments, and giving you a behind-the-scenes sort of view that you never get to see in regard to these things. And that's the idea. And the first guest, well, you'll see. I'll save that for when we actually get started. But you know, I've got a very good plan, and I think he's going to be a very good guest who you guys will like. Unfortunately, though, here's where I have the bad news. Despite unlocking the space, I unfortunately will not be able to use it until I complete the orientation, and I'm not going to be able to complete the orientation because recently the fine folks of Shesue, the great publishing conglomerate that runs Shonen Jump amongst many other different magazines, gave my channel a copyright strike. It's unfortunate because ages ago when I was experimenting with like live reactions, me and my good old buddy Goro, we did like a live reaction for an early chapter of Dr. Stone. The video didn't do well and only got like 85 views, but somehow some legal department person found it and gave me a copyright strike. And I think in that video I basically used like big chunks of the comic from like the scanlation, so I can see why that would get copyrighted. It's not really worth fighting, and I don't want to, you know, risk them like trying to pull more copyright strikes for more content covering Shesue stuff, because Japanese companies tend to be very anal in this regard. They're not quite as free as American companies in terms of fair use and whatnot. So the smartest decision is to just wait until the strike expires, hope I don't get a new one, and that'll be on December 5th. But as soon as that's up and going, I will be going through the orientations, going through all the processes, basically learning everything I can to make this thing into a reality. And I freaking cannot wait to make this happen. So that brings me to the next order of business. Mr. Dick Riding Association. You have commented consistently on almost every goddamn video I've done. You have also mentioned in a comment before that you live in the NYC area. I would like to extend a formal invitation to you and whoever else you can drag up if you would like to be the first studio audience for the Lobster Tonight Show. Like I said, this won't be for a while until like at the earliest the end of this year or early next year. But I would love to have you in there and be an obnoxious, raucous studio audience to come sit on the taping. Because remember, this show's going to be super low budget, and I want to kind of like lean into that and poke fun at how low budget it is. So like, you know, to get like, you know, freaking 4 or 5 guys sitting in a chair just like going hog wild and pretending that what they're seeing is like the most epic crap ever, like they do on Jimmy Fallon or All the Real Ones, to me would be funny as hell. Walter Street, you've been commenting longer than Mr. Dick Riding Association. I would love to give you this offer, but I think you mentioned that you live in the South, and that is just too much to ask for you to like come all the way up just to be in the audience for this stupid thing. That also extends to anyone else out there, you know, in the NYC, New Jersey area. Once I have more firm details, I'll put it like, I'll figure out some way that anyone who wants to be in the audience can like request it and see if I have enough space and how many people I can accommodate. But I would love just like a bunch of you to come in, be patient, watch this stupid thing unfold, and just follow my instructions as we make dumb things and mock the entire late night industrial complex. So look forward to that, you know, more details forthcoming. So now, I'd like to ask you guys another question. Now that, like, this is becoming a little bit more viable, you know, the thing that I've alluded to forever and is coming sooner, and I have plans to bring it into fruition, are, of course, the inevitable Patreon. Because as nice as YouTube ad revenue can be, it's not reliable, it's not consistent, it can be pulled away from you at any moment. It's not a way you can build a living, unfortunately, unless you're like in the top 1 to 5% of, you know, good old YouTubers. But a nice, fat, stable Patreon will basically give me the ability to leave any pretense at a normie job and do this full time. Although I don't expect to like make enough money, at least initially on Patreon, to like, you know, just be able to quit my job. You know, as nice as 10K subs is, I'm still a very, very tiny, minuscule fish that like, you know, doesn't really count in the larger pond that is this, you know, YouTube ecosystem. But my question is, what kind of rewards are good for you? What would you prefer from a Patreon? Like, that's one thing I'm kind of going back and forth on. Like, obviously, month to month would be the most consistent for me, or would you prefer that I do, like, a per video basis? But, unfortunately, you know, it varies. Like, sometimes I do big projects, sometimes I do small projects. You know, stuff like low-effort content, vlog reviews I would never charge for. But, like, you know, would you feel offended if I did, like, a 7-minute video and charged you per video basis on Patreon versus, like, a 15-minute video? Those are the sort of questions that I'm curious to hear back from you. What would you prefer? And also, I'm thinking reasonable tiers, you know, like a $1 tier, a $5 tier, maybe $15, $25 at max. What kind of rewards would you like to see? Is seeing your name at the end of the credits of videos good enough? Is, like, you know, select cute little shout-outs to each individual person decent enough? You know, I'm going to be honest, the Patreon rewards aren't going to be super fantastic just because, you know, I don't want to invest $1,000, you know, buying t-shirts and then dealing with the shipping and basically shit that's going to cost me more money and waste time from preventing me from making more videos. So, you know, as much as I would love to have 5 billion dude angles that I send you, you know, that's not super practical, and it's long-term a dumb strategy. But I do want to make, you know, I don't like wasting people's time. I don't like wasting your money. You know, I take it very seriously. So, you know, I'd love some feedback in terms of like what would be interesting to you on, you know, $1 video, you know, $1 a month. What would you want for $5 a month? Would you want a Discord server? You know, that's something I'm pondering. Would you want a Patreon exclusive Discord server? Would you want like a generally open Discord server where, you know, the people who are on Patreon are ranked into different tiers so you can feel better than the people who pay less? I've heard that works for some people. What would make it fulfilling and financially viable for you? Because ultimately what I want to do is be on Patreon, have multiple revenue streams, buy a very cheap house up in Pennsylvania or upstate New York, somewhere within a reasonable driving distance from the New York YouTube place, so I can, like, you know, grow my sub count, because, you know, once you get to 10,000 or 100,000 subs, yeah, once you get to 100,000 subs, then you can use film 3 times a month versus the 10,000 tier where you can only use it once a month. And once you get to 1 million, you can film there 6 times a month. So obviously I'd love to get there, but, you know, that's a long road. And, you know, I want to utilize this space and make more stuff and do more stuff in there. So, you know, that'll ultimately depend on you. And, you know, to make that financially viable for me, you know, I got to figure out a fair Patreon system. So words on what you think is fair and what is a fair reward tier for you guys, you know, is very important to me. So please let me know so I can, like, start to build that in the back of my head as I continue to plan on building my evil lobster empire. Yeah, the evil lobster empire, so I can, you know, say F you to, you know, begging for normie work and live out the creator fantasy dream of just producing stuff all the time, which would be very nice and is the ultimate goal of all of this. So let me know what you think. I'm very curious about what your thoughts are. And thank you again for everyone who subbed. Thank you again for everyone who continues to watch my video content. Plenty more stuff in the future, and I am going to keep on trucking. I am a very gritty person, and there is no greater stimulant for me. There is no greater dopamine hit than success and validation. So, you know, the more comments I get, the more, you know, activity I get, the more that pushes me to keep on making more stuff. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone. Captain Crunch thanks you too. I'll figure out some way to shill him, like, you know, JonTron shilled his goddamn bird, or that Jaden Animations uses her parrot. I have a parrot. I should be a parrot YouTuber. Why can't I be a parrot tuber? Someday. Someday. We'll figure it out, Captain. But until then, that day, thank you. Happy 10K celebrations. See you at the next big milestone, whenever that comes. And remember, lobster's antennas, but don't you grab it.